We like highways and railroads to be straight and level, but Earth's bumps and wiggles make that kind of construction an amazing challenge. So, how do you take a highway through a valley or make a railroad cross a creek? The simplest answer is to use a bridge. Well, this bridge is what we'll be discussing about in this episode of Perspicaci Cafe. In the endless war of people versus nature, there will only ever be one winner, but humans can still console themselves with occasional victories, which is what the world's greatest bridges represent. Whether we need to cross rivers or valleys, connect mainland to the island, carry cars, people, buses, bridges are a brilliant solution whenever nature gets in our way. Historians suppose that people invented bridges when they saw how fallen trees could help them cross shallow rivers. About 3,300 years ago, in the place called Argolis in Greece, our ancient ancestors built the Arkadiko Bridge, also known as Kazarma Bridge, which is believed to be the oldest existing bridge in the world, which was and still used by local population. Since then, bridges have grown longer, taller, slowly evolving from simple stone arches to graceful bridges several miles long, struck repeatedly and violently by winds from above, rubbing hard by rivers from below, pounded by traffic all day long. It's a miracle that bridges stay upright as long as they do. It has always been a human desire to see how long down the road it can go and how far in the sky their creations can reach. Normally, the longest bridges aren't that much taller and the tallest bridges aren't that much longer, for some obvious reasons which can be acknowledged by common sense, right? For instance, spanning 102.4 miles or 165 kilometers, the world's longest bridge is the Danyang Kushan Grand Bridge in China, connecting Shanghai and Nanjing. It was opened in the year 2011, and you know what? It had cost about $8.5 billion to build. Okay, there is this one thing I want to mention. Highest bridge and tallest bridge are not the same thing. While I was making this video, I came to know that there are many misconceptions about this. We also think that they are same, but they are not. Let me clear things up for you real quick. To understand the difference between high bridges and tall bridges, you need to know these two terms, deck height and structural height. For explaining, without going with bunch of theoretical words, let me show you with some practicality. This is a bridge. The length from the deck to the lowermost visible point is called deck height, and the length from the uppermost top point to the lowermost visible point is called structural height. Yup, that's so there it is. The criteria for the highest bridges is deck height, and the criteria for the tallest bridges is structural height. Make sense? For example, as of 8 February 2020, the Dug Bridge is the highest bridge in the world, but only the 10th tallest. Why? Because the deck height is a whopping 565 meters, but the structural height is far less at 269 meters. For instance, the Millau Viaduct is the tallest bridge in the world, but only the 26th highest. Again, why? At an astonishing structural height of 343 meters, which is by far the greatest of all, with a deck height at 270 meters above the valley floor, making it the tallest bridge ever achieved by humans. Well, don't you think the Millau Viaduct Bridge is both tall in structural height and kind of high in deck height, which makes it a real wonder of engineering? Moving on, the 2.7 kilometers long Golden Gate Bridge, an icon of the San Francisco Bay region and one of the most famous bridge of the world that connects the city of San Francisco to Marin County, California. At its completion in 1937, the suspension bridge was considered an engineering marvel. Along with that, it became the longest suspension bridge span in the world, and it weighs an enormous 887,000 tons, and that's some real heavy weight, right? There is this interesting thing to know that the Golden Gate Bridge isn't only famous just because it is simply marvelous. Steve Miller, the Deputy General Manager, Bridge Division, said an estimated 1,700 people have killed themselves by jumping off the bridge since its construction. People who survived the suicide attempts by jumping off the Golden Gate Bridge often regret their decision in mid-air, if not before, said one survivor. I instantly realized that everything in my life that I thought was unfixable was totally fixable, except for having just jumped. Now you must have heard about another one of the most famous bridge of the world in London, the Tower Bridge. It has been featured in hell of a lot movies, TV shows, etc. Let me tell you an incident that took place in that bridge. Albert Gunton was a bus driver in London. In the year 1952, while he was crossing the Tower Bridge, suddenly he found himself that the bridge began to rise to allow a ship to pass. Then what did he do? He accelerated the bus and jumped the gap and eventually was awarded £10 for bravery. So, if you want more of these type of videos, be sure to subscribe and hit the bell icon. At last, thank you so much for watching. Have a wonderful day and I'll see you next time.